Now to a story that Newsfirst has been closely monitoring on. The reverberations from a leaked trove of Panamanian documents rippled through several nations, with President Vladimir Putin of Russia calling the exposure of a proliferation of shell companies and tax havens an American plot, and Prime Minister David Cameron of Britain admitting that he had profited from an offshore trust.
UK Prime Minister David Cameron, when asked specifically whether he or his family had derived any benefit from the fund from an offshore account, dodged the question. This was highlighted by Newsfirst on our segment Panama Papers on the 6th of this month.
No shares. I have a salary as Prime Minister and I have some savings which I get some interest from, and I have a house which we used to live in, which we now let out while we're living in Downing Street, and that's all I have.
However, today the Prime Minister of UK had an extremely different response.
And I did. Samantha and I had a joint account, and we owned 5,000 units in Blairmore Investment Trust, which we sold in January 2010. That was worth something like £30,000.
Is there a profit on it?
I paid income tax on the dividends, but there was a profit on it, but it was less than the capital gains tax allowance, so I didn't pay capital gains tax, but it was subject to all the UK taxes in all the normal ways.
In Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissed reports based on the legal documents which showed that some of his close associates had moved about $2 billion through offshore accounts, calling the accusations an American plot to try to destabilize Russia. Putin, in his first public remarks on the subject, noted that none of the accusations were aimed at him directly because he was not named in the papers, even if the international coverage has focused on him.
Offshore accounts are also creation of the notion that wealthy people must cheat the taxpayers. Here in Sri Lanka, more than 33 names have been exposed, and these are the wealthiest people in Sri Lanka with so much of reputation at stake. And in Cambodia, in Thailand and other countries, the investigation started. We have done nothing. And I believe the first thing is for the Criminal Investigation Department or the FCID is to go before Magistrates Court and give the names and prevent them from going abroad. That is the first step. And then start investigation. You must understand the investigation must be done in such professional manner. They must get the advice of the Intelligence Department. There are officers who are well trained in this on these offences, and also a special team must be used in order to ensure that every person is exposed, brought before court and punished.
Today what we should do is to investigate immediately, because there are agencies which are concerned about it, like the Exchange Control Department of the Central Bank, Financial Intelligence Unit in the Central Bank, then the Inland Revenue Department, and all these organizations will have to get together and they will have to investigate, because the names are there, the addresses are there, statements can be recorded. We can find out under what circumstances and why the money has been taken out of Sri Lanka, and the current procedure should be that not to put them behind bars. What we have to do is we have to get this money back to Sri Lanka.